Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Slovenia for the first time in quite a little while actually, and this is a brewery who I've reviewed a couple of beers from before. So for this one we are going to go to Ajdoština, which is to the southwest of Ljubljana, and we're having a taste of another beer from Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs. This one is their Mea Culpa. It's an Imperial IPA coming in at 10%, and you know, I guess the proper style title for this one would be Triple IPA. But so very much looking forward to this one. It's very highly rated on Rate Beer and Untappd, well into the 4 stars from what I remember on Untappd, and it was well into the 90s on Rate Beer when I had a little quick look at it earlier. So as I say, very excited to try this one, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So a couple of shout outs in this video as well. This is the first in a kind of mini series of Slovenian ones that you're going to see over the next little while. A huge thank you once again to Davor Širitz, who's watched the channel for, it must be around 3 or 4 years now that he's been watching it. He is in contact with the guys at Reservoir Dogs. They gave him a box of beer to give to me, so a huge thank you to them as well. And he arranged to post this up to me and put in a few Belgian beers that he wanted to see me review from his cellar, and also a good number of Slovenian beers as well. So you'll see these publishing over the next couple of weeks, and yeah, I just think it's very cool to have fans like that of the channel. So a huge thank you to Davor and to the guys at Reservoir Dogs for this one as well. So very much looking forward to this, like I said. And as I say, Slovenia, beautiful country, lovely people. They do some damn good wine, I've been told, and it does tend to be the case that if they do damn good wine, they tend to do some very good craft beers as well, and I can say it, that's certainly the case in my experience with Slovenia so far. So pay attention to these Slovenian beer reviews, and I hope you guys enjoy them. And if you're watching from outside of Slovenia, go and visit it. It's somewhere that's on my list for the next little while as well. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs before. There will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, uses a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Slovenian beers that I've reviewed for you. That'll be getting added to quite regularly over the next little while. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then, to tell you a little bit about Reservoir Dogs. So Reservoir Dogs was founded by 4 friends who brewed in their spare time. So this was Uros Komel, who was a mathematician by trade, Alosa Polencic, who was a neurologist, Andrzej Sluga, who was an economist, and also Matthew Brezigar, who was an electrical engineer. But they say that they basically just wanted to brew beer for themselves, and initially much of their learning really was just from the internet. They read a lot of brewing blogs and journals and stuff like this, and their beers proved to be very popular, and their brewing kind of continued to expand in size. But the company was officially founded back in 2014, initially as a contract brewer at the Hotel Gold Club Ajdoština, but they're now based in Nova Gorica, right on the border with Italy actually. But they've recently opened up their new brewery, which also has a tap room, and it has a much larger capacity than before as well. I believe that brewery is now back in Ajdoština as well. But the company, of course, is named after the Quentin Tarantino movie of the same name. You know, Quentin Tarantino does have a little bit of a kind of cult following, and these guys absolutely love it. But I've tried a number of beers from these guys before. I've tried the Batch 50, if I'm remembering the number correctly, which was a beautiful imperial stout, and I've also tried it was the Grim Reaper, which was an IPA, and also the Lone Wolf, which used some of the Slovenian hops, the Styrian Wolf, absolutely beautiful hop that gives you this almost melony taste. You know, the Slovenians, it's a small country, but they've got lots of different hop varieties like Bobek, Celaya, Dana, the Styrian Goldings, Aurora, what is it, the Styrian Wolf as well. There's a couple of other ones there that I'm probably missing, but they produce some beautiful high alpha acid hops, and sometimes they use them in their beers. So if you can try any of the beers from these guys that I've had so far, probably the most unusual one for a foreigner would be the Lone Wolf IPA. So if you can get a Slovenian brewed beer with that Lone Wolf hop, or that Styrian Wolf hop, my apologies, then that is one that I really would recommend that you have a go at. So if you see that beer anywhere, have a go at it for yourself and just see what you think. But yeah, that's all all you really need to know about Reservoir Dogs just now. They produce around 16 different beers regularly. You can get those on the tap and the thing, and they've got various kind of experimental brews that you can find in the tap room as well. The tap room incidentally looks lovely if you look at the pictures in the website and the Facebook page. You know, it's somewhere I really do need to go, and I will figure that out over the next kind of year or two actually to get down there. But yeah, check out the brewery website in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and all of this sort of thing. But let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, as you can see, really nicely presented, this one. I like the artwork on this. This is a little bit different from the other ones that you would normally find from Reservoir Dogs. But there you can see on the side here, here is the Reservoir Dog symbol. This one apparently it was dry hopped 4 times, it was saying on the website. So it will be a bit of a monster. 10% and being a triple IPA, you would expect that anyway. But yeah, it's a lovely looking beer, this one, and yeah, it just looks absolutely great. You can see, it looks like, yeah, there's a woman kind of, I don't know if she's being crucified exactly or what's going on there. You can kind of see that on the artwork of this, but lovely looking beer this. So without further ado, I guess let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. Very curious to see how this one turns out. Nice little bit of smoke, and we'll get it out and into the glass. This one I think is going to be an absolute monster, but I know it will be a beautiful, beautiful beer when I think about the experiences I've had with this brewery before. So yeah, look at that. Lovely, dark, orangey colour this one as we open it up. When you open this beer up, it definitely smells like a sort of peachy, kind of apricot-y sort of thing, but there's almost a bit of an orangey quality in there as well. But we'll look at the aroma more closely in a little bit. But as you can see with this beer, it's poured a lovely, kind of dark, almost, I don't know if you could say that's a blood orangey colour, but it's got a lovely kind of amber tint to it. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it is actually quite hazy, this one. But yeah, if I hold it up to the light as well, it does have a good little bit of haze to it, but it's definitely a slightly darker orange colour there. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. You can see the head on this one is really quite thin, almost just a very thin kind of quarter finger foamy layer, but that kind of is to be expected when you've got these higher alcohol beers. Some of them, right enough, can have quite big heads on them, some of the Imperial Stouts, but quite a few of them the head does tend to fade away quite a little bit. But yeah, in terms of an IPA, or any kind of IPA, doesn't be it triple, double Imperial, or double Imperial, you know, however you want to term it, in terms of this kind of style of beer, the appearance isn't particularly surprising. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Oh, as soon as you smell this beer, as soon as you smell this, you know this is a big boozy beast. Seriously. This one is going to be an absolute monster. Straight away out of this one, you can smell the nice big caramelly malts. You can smell it's almost got that kind of slightly medicinal quality to it. There's maybe a little tiny touch of phenol coming out of this one, but you can really smell that big caramelly quality to this one. It's almost a little bit of a slightly toasty caramel in there as well. Some biscuity notes coming out. Definitely a little touch of breadiness in there as well. But a lovely, big, quite sweet, but also quite toasted caramel note forming the linchpin of this beer. Yeah, it really has that that big kind of double West Coast. I'm very curious to see if this is going to be more of a West Coasty or a New England type IPA, this one, because this is one that I don't think they did the last time I reviewed their beers. But yeah, it smells absolutely lovely, this. The malt base is kind of what you would expect. There's a good bit of hoppy quality to this one as well, but of course with it being so high in alcohol, the malt base is very, very prominent in this one. You know, you've definitely got a good little bit of floral aromaticity to this one. I'm not quite sure if it's pine resin, and I think that's because the malt base is so powerful, it's almost a little bit difficult to tell actually, but it's definitely got a little bit of that kind of spicy floral aromaticity note to it, a little bit of a lighter kind of grassy quality in there. On the fruity side of things, I would say there's a little bit of orange in there, definitely. You know, I don't know if it's mosaic, maybe a little touch of that, but there's a good bit of tropical fruit quality, you know, mangoes, apricots, maybe a little bit of peachy kind of papaya sort of thing going on with this beer as well. So it could be, you know, there could be some citra in here, there could be a little bit of mosaic to it as well, because it has got a good little bit of complexity to it, but as I say, the malt base comes across as being a little bit medicinal, but I'm guessing that's just because of the, you know, the strength of the alcohol in this one. 10% is a big beer regardless of whether it's a double or a triple IPA. But yeah, and I guess that's one of the things, that's probably why they've called this an Imperial IPA, because it's a little bit more, you know, that it's a little bit more of a kind of general term that than saying it's double or triple. The borders between these two different styles, of course, is, you know, it's kind of debated a little bit, right enough. But the fact is, it's a beast of an IPA, and it has everything you would expect in the aroma of this one. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Mea Culpa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs in Ajdovština in Slovenia. Thank you once again to Davor Širac for sending this beer and the other ones up to me, and thank you to the guys at Reservoir Dogs for making this possible. So let's get stuck into this beer then. Slanja, skål, na zdravje. Oh, now that's a really quite well done beer, I have to say. It is a little bit of a monster, actually. You can feel the booze on this one right away, but it's not in a bad way. It's a really quite nicely done beer, this one, I have to say. So, you know, I'll say straight away with this one, thumbs up to the guys at Reservoir Dogs for this. But as I say, if you try this one, just tread lightly with it, because it is a bit of a monster. Yeah. In terms of the flavour profile of this one, I definitely think this is more of a West Coast type IPA. We'll say that straight away with this. The middle of your palate, it does have a little bit of this nice kind of bready malt base to it. You can feel that go right across the middle of your tongue there. That just forms the whole linchpin of the beer. In the centre of your palate, you've got a nice little bit of a sweet caramel there. It does have a little touch of a slightly darker brown sugar flavour. It's almost as if it's been like a kind of caramelised brown sugar. Maybe this one, and I'm guessing maybe from the colour as well, they've maybe used a slightly longer boil in this beer to make the beer just a little bit darker, and maybe that's kind of why the brown sugars are coming out in the way they are with this beer. Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of that kind of sweetness in the middle of your palate. And you can feel, as you go further out from the centre of this one, there's definitely a little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there as well. In the centre of your palate, you've got the main kind of caramelly quality that covers up the booze. And then you've got a little bit of the kind of biscuity notes there, and that comes out a little bit more the further out from the centre of your palate you go in this one. This one's, you know, the malt base is very, very good at actually covering the alcohol in this one. You know, it's for a 10% beer, it's very, very smooth. It's one of these things. It covers its alcohol really quite well, so again, that's another thing to give this brewery a big thumbs up for. I remember thinking that with their other beers as well. Their malt bases were always very kind of smooth, but they also just had a little dash of kind of sweetness in them as well. So yeah, they've kind of continued that in this one. But yeah, that's a good beer. So in the back corners of the palate then, you can get a nice little bit of earthiness in there. But as you come further forward, you can feel that just kind of smooths out a little bit, and you start to get these nice kind of floral aromatic notes. I do wonder if there's a little touch of pine resin or something in there, and because it does have a little bit of that slightly more dark, dank quality to it. And then as you go round the front curve of the palate, it's just that little bit lighter and more grassy, and then behind the front curve of the tongue, you've got that nice oily bubble where those juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And it's kind of similar to what you were getting in the aroma with this one. You know, it's got a little bit of a kind of mango-y quality to it. I think there's a little touch of an orange in here, but mainly it's leaning towards the kind of tropical fruits, I would say. Yeah, definitely. Nice little bit of mango. I'd say sort of some apricot-y kind of notes in there, maybe some like papaya or something like that as well. I think there's maybe a little touch of citra in here. There's a little kind of tiny bit of grapefruit at the very back of that fruity part of your palate as well, and again that's making me think citra. And depending on what you mix it with, you can get a little bit of grapefruit out of it, but in front of that it's mango. A little bit further forward, As I say, I think there's a little tiny touch of orangey, kind of tangerine quality in this one, which makes me wonder if there's a little bit of mosaic in there. But around the front edge of your tongue, it's got a little bit of lychee and almost a little kind of tiny hint of blueberry in there as well. So I'm really wondering with this beer if it's got a little bit of it could be citron mosaic that's in this one. I always like playing guess the hops with these beers, but then again it could be one of the local varieties. I think probably Celaya is probably the main kind of high alpha acid one. I'm pretty sure there's not Styrian Wolf in this one. That's, it's a beautiful hop, that bit. It's very kind of small production. With the amount of hops you would need to put in a triple IPA to balance it out, I'm not quite sure that they would do that with this one, just because, as I say, it's a difficult hop to get a hold of that one as far as I understand. But yeah, I think I've got a feeling there's Citra and Mosaic in here, but the flavours in this one work out very, very nicely. As I said, this is a really good quality triple IPA, this one, so if you get the chance to try this, have a go at it. This brewery, genuinely, they could match a lot of the kind of well-known, the other well-known European breweries. There's a lot of really good and well-known IPA breweries and stuff these days, and these guys easily match them. It's kind of a shame because Slovenia, their beers and breweries and stuff probably aren't quite as well known. Maybe they don't get the recognition that they deserve, and people just don't know about them right enough. But they would get the praise if they were known a little bit more, and hopefully that's what happens with them now that they've got their new brewery. But this is an absolutely solid triple IPA. It's done just very, very nicely. So if you like the style, if you like the big beastly IPAs, then this is one that you definitely want to go for. Within the style categories, I would say this is definitely more of a kind of West Coast triple IPA. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then I'm sure you'd really enjoy this one. It's very, very well balanced as well. You've got that lovely smoothness and slight sweetness to the malt base, but you've also got the big bitter hoppy qualities and also some of the nice juicy fruits. Definitely more of a kind of tropical fruity one, this. But I think there is a little touch of a slightly orangey, tangerine quality to this one as well. But lovely beer this, and one that I definitely recommend that you try. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this beer, definitely a full-bodied beer. Yeah. Definitely a full-bodied beer. This carbonation is very smooth. The mouthfeel leans more towards the oily side of things. Understandable when you consider the ABV of this one. Good bit of hoppy bitterness. I'd reckon this is around sort of the 70-ish, somewhere, yeah, probably 70-ish IBUs in this beer. It's got a nice little bit of quality to it. This one, and maybe I could be overestimating that a little bit, but I think the IBUs in this one are a little bit high. But that works for it. As I say, it's a West Coast IPA. As far as I can see, it's a West Coast-ish IPA. And you want the IBUs to be a little bit higher in this one, but good little bit of hoppy bitterness, like I was saying. Lots of juicy fruity qualities. As I say, more of a tropical fruit from this one, and the malt base is well balanced with that smoothness, and it's well balanced with that smoothness, but also a little bit of the sweetness there as well. I'm finding the malt base gets a little bit sweeter and sweeter the further into it that you go with this beer. But as I say, lovely, lovely beer, this one. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this to others as well. But another very, very solid beer from these guys. And I'm really glad I was able to review it for you. So again, a huge thank you to the guys at Reservoir Dogs for making this possible. And also a big thanks to Davor Shearitz as well for arranging the sending of these beers. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. The Mea Culpa, just an absolute beast of a triple IPA from the guys at Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs in Aroma in Slovenia. Great beer country these days. There's a lot of little breweries kind of popping up there now that are doing some great stuff. They've got their own hops as well, so if you get the chance to go and visit, I highly recommend that you do. And as I said, that's something I will get round to doing within the next year or two. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. The Mea Culpa, a triple IPA at 10% from Slovenia, and one that I really do recommend that you check out. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs as well, and you will be seeing more reviews from these guys over the next little while. Make sure you check out my social media and let me know your own thoughts on this beer and brewery in the comment section below, and don't hesitate to get in touch and let me know some other Slovenian breweries. Until the next time, Slanja just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Slanja, Skol, na zdravje.